Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for standing by, and welcome to the Innovations and Workforce Management webinar. During the presentation, all participants will be in listen-only mode. Should you wish to ask a question during the presentation, please use the chat feature located in the lower left-hand corner of your screen. If you need to reach an operator at any time, please press *0. As a reminder, this conference is being recorded Wednesday, July 30th, 2014. I would now like to hand the call over to Mr. George Cruz, Innovations Practice Director. Please go ahead, sir.
Thank you very much, and good afternoon, everyone. I appreciate your time this afternoon, and hopefully we'll have a very intriguing, very interesting presentation to show you on workforce optimization innovations and things that can help you out in that area. Just to start you off and just show you where we're going here. A little introduction on innovations in our group, but we're going to soon and deeply dive into some of the key areas that I think are very intriguing in this space. In workforce optimization, as you'll notice there, we listed about 5 or 6 different innovations, each of which have been implemented in multiple customer sites, each of which have some pretty resounding return on investment and other type of value-add offerings that we can give. So before we start, I'll just mention that we will have a question and answer period at the end. You'll be able to type in your questions. And feel free, whether you see something that you're interested in this presentation, we'll have some information at the end of the presentation for additional feedback. But just wanted to share with you some of the focal points that I've been working on as an innovation practice director. I've been with Aspect 18 years, and it had multiple types of positions, whether implementing just about every product that we have, developing on products, consulting. Way back at some point, I was an Aspect customer, and that's really what drives me in this position to reach out and kind of go back to where it all started, right? In the contact center. I was a workforce optimization director in multiple multi-site environment, and really a lot of our innovations come from customers. If you notice there, just about 90% of our innovations are customer-driven in some form or fashion, and most of our consultants in our group have been customers before in the past. So certainly, some of the issues, some of the problems, some of the opportunities that you face today are things that we faced as customers, as engagement consultants, and throughout the years have leveraged this information and really put together some innovative solutions for our customers and continue to do so. And we welcome that kind of feedback during these type of presentations and any time that we meet to just give us more insight into your business, things that we can help you drive, business problems that we can help solve. So that's really what this presentation is about, is showing you, discussing some of the things that we've done for other customers, some of the innovative opportunities, and hopefully they resonate well with you and some of the opportunities that you have. So in saying that, we have innovations or solutions across a lot of different areas within our products. Today's conversation will be focused around workforce optimization solutions, innovations that drive in that area, particularly some automation, agent empowerment, solutions that help you unlock some of the value that you have invested in workforce management. And we'll be talking about that blue area there, Workforce Mobile, Virtual Schedule Attendant, and some of the other innovations, which I think you'll find intriguing and very valuable. And we'll talk about some of the ROI and some of the value that other customers have unlocked with these. Okay, so before we dive into one of our first innovations, I just want to get a sense, a quick little poll, a little question, and you can answer it. If a contact center employee was to call in sick today, and I use that in quotes because, I mean, it doesn't necessarily have to be a voice call in, but somebody is sick unexpectedly, would that request be handled automatically, or would it require some manual intervention today for it to be processed? So if you can vote, submit your results. I feel like American Idol, text 3, text 2. Submit your results. We'll get some interesting results here. Yeah, that's, and you know, that's pretty typical from the conversations that I have with customers. This is still a very manual intensive process. I mean, when I was a customer about 20 years ago, this process was manual. We'd call in, somebody was sick, somebody didn't feel well, and they'd call in. You'd always get a supervisor, whether happy or not happy to see, to hear from you, because you're going to affect their schedule. And then all of a sudden, it's a manual process, getting into workforce management and all the intricacies that happen there. And we've seen that. We've heard that from customers time and time again. And certainly, an innovation, an application like Workforce Mobile comes to that rescue, right? It allows our agents to be able to self-service, self-manage their schedules from a remote, whether they're at home or in travel, hopefully not driving. They'll be able to utilize the mobile application and not only do things like say they're not coming in, they're sick, and so forth, but look at schedules, look at requests, look at other things that are important to them as a remote agent or as an agent that can't be at their desktop and still be able to be plugged into what's going on. And that number you see there of 120,000 is an example of one of the customers' ROI first year. And again, it's really based on X number of agents. Larger call centers experience a lot more return on investment. But if you can imagine the time and dollars spent in processing these types of requests. I mean, these are probably some of the typical problems that you face in your organization today. Ability to self-manage and access schedules. Needing to have that self-service non-live support, right? Why do I need to speak to somebody live to say I'm not coming in? Why can't I just do that and save time, save energy from the administrators and let that be focused in on coaching and others? And as a supervisor, why can't I walk around and have a smart application and untether me from the desktop to be able to see my schedule, to see intraday performance, and see other statistics while I'm in a meeting, while I'm away from my desk? You can have that, and that's what Workforce Mobile does today. Is it allows you to increase that agent and supervisor satisfaction in your product, right? Because workforce management is a great tool. It's great information, information that's critical, pertinent. But you know what? Sometimes you need to access that through the devices that you own, and not just from the desktop, right? So decreasing cost, huge amount. In fact, talked to a customer recently that had just on the sheer volume of agents that they had over 19,000 agents. But just the amount of support and departments that actually went into answering these calls globally to get all the, I'm not coming in because I'm feeling sick. And sometimes they're left on voicemail. Sometimes they're not processed, right away. I mean, you probably have the horror stories yourself of these types of calls that just don't get in there. And there's human error, transcribing that information, putting it into workforce management. All that can be removed, right? So workforce management mobile, and time permitting, I will bring up that application on my iPad, and I'll show you an example. I wish I could go deeper into these applications and Today, however, time not permitting here, I'll be more than happy to take this offline and go much deeper. If you want some more information, again, we'll give you contact information at the end. But certainly Workforce Mobile is an application that allows your agents to self-manage their schedules. Aspect Virtual Schedule Attendant. Why is this application here? I mean, if I have mobile, aren't I, taking care of that remote enablement of my agent and staff? Maybe, maybe not. In fact, Virtual Schedule Attendant is it really goes hand in hand with the other application, Workforce Mobile, that we saw before. Now, imagine, if you will, agents having a mobile application, being able to self-service and so forth, but there's still a decent amount of population out there that may not have a smartphone. Maybe their smartphone is, not working, dead battery. Maybe they're just not near their smartphone, and they still need to get access to this information. A lot of companies provide Virtual Schedule Attendant also for that ability from a human resource department to have that fair access to everyone, not requiring a smartphone, whether maybe you're a global company and so forth. So Virtual Schedule Attendant also empowers you to be able to do things like remotely listen to your schedule via a phone, remotely be able to call in and say, hey, you know what, I'm not feeling well, I'm going to use one of my sick times and call in sick. I don't need to have that mobile application. Maybe I have a feature phone, as they call it, and I don't call it a feature phone, I call it more of a not smarter phone, but a phone that's not going to allow for that mobile application. I'm still able to do this, from any phone, landline, and so forth, and still cater to a great amount of the population there as well. As well as be able to do things when I'm calling in, maybe for a customer that they want to have. If somebody calls in, let's say they are able to look up and say, you know what, this person has called in sick 3 times already. Or this agent is new to the contact center, and as a 1-month agent, they've called in sick twice already. Maybe I should treat that call differently. Maybe I should give them a couple of different menu options. Maybe I should go directly to a live supervisor at that point. All right, so Virtual Schedule Attendant gives you that IVR type of flexibility of menuing structure and deeper insight, maybe going into a WFM database or other databases that it can extend out and say, what is this agent calling about? Who is this agent? Are they on a performance review? Maybe it shouldn't be that easy to take that day off when they've already taken 4 days off already this month. All right, so that's the kind of insight and things that we can provide with Virtual Schedule Attendant from a touch tone perspective. Again, integrated with Workforce Management allows for that immediate entry into Workforce Management, decreasing that human error and delay. So both of those applications give you that power of that remote administrative scheduling ability. Okay, so time for another quick question. So how many hours a week does your workforce management analysts or administrators or maybe supervisors spend on manual tasks such as payroll, schedules, and other time attendance and tracking? Let's see. Oh. Let's see. All right. Well, it's a pretty even across the, oh, hold on, 20 to 40 hours a week. Maybe that's a department or a person. Maybe it's a full-time. And that's going to vary based on company size. But, the net here is that just about every customer I speak to has this going on, right? They need to integrate workforce management with their timekeeping, their payroll, their HR systems. That integration needs to be there. It's there. Now, whether it's done manually, whether it's done by exporting reports, whether it's done by somebody, full-time, taking ownership of this, it's there. Now, a lot of customers say, you know what, is there ways that we can automate this? Is there ways that we can make it easier? Is there ways that I can sync up my vacation accruals that are happening in SAP and ADP and other systems into workforce management? Are there ways that I can transfer that data automatically without having to rely on exporting reports? Are there ways that I can make it easier? And they are. HRIS Link is I think I lost count of how many implementations that we've done. Probably one of our largest implemented applications. Why? Because number one, it's very flexible. Number two, the types of integrations that it does allows for things like syncing up of that vacation balance, syncing up of the pay time to other vendors like ADP and Kronos and so forth. That happens today. Why not automate it? And automating some of this not only saves a huge amount of cost and all that manual and administrative overhead, but the delays and errors. I mean, this is pay data. I remember as an agent, that was probably the most important thing to me. I mean, it's vacation days and paid time. And any delays, any errors, and any kind of situation with that's huge. And if it's not being automated today, and there's a lot of different tasks, right? There's exporting of pay time, exporting of schedules, syncing up of vacation, and there's a lot of different areas where we can do this. If you're not automating that today, you should ask yourself why. What are some of the areas that we can automate there? Eliminate those duplicated efforts, right? Decrease those time that you need these administrators to be running these reports, be babysitting these systems that were built. Maybe way back when, let's say it was needed, it was appropriate, but maybe it's not as accurate. Maybe it breaks down every now and then. This multi-step process. It can be better, and customers have come to us and say, can you automate this? Can you make it cleaner? Can you make it better? And absolutely, HRIS Link is one of the ways to do that. One of the big things that I'm excited about workforce optimization is really automation. I'm a tech geek, by nature, but I love the contact center, right? So you kind of merge those two together like chocolate and peanut butter, and I just can't stop thinking about ways to improve, make things more efficient in the contact center. And Adherence Link is one of those applications that allow you to automate something that really is probably causing a lot of time investment today. So think about today when somebody is late, right? So somebody, lateness coming in and an adherence issue. Somebody signed in 30 minutes later than they're supposed to. And what happens today? You're going to have to track that. There's reports that need to be done. And there's manual exception entries that need to happen. There's a lot of manual process that go into making sure that workforce management is accurate, right? You want to have it accurate to report on the right amount of pay time and so forth. But why not automate some of these tasks? Why do you have to manually put in a late exception when in the reports, I can certainly see that it's 30 minutes late. I can automate that. I don't have to run reports. I don't have to wait until certain end of day stuff. I can look at intraday. I could have automation do this for me, and things that let's say I have a grace period. Let's say my company gives 5 or 10 minutes of grace period just to get settled in the morning. Right? So now I have these business rules that I can extend in this application that say, all right, well, I was 3 minutes late. Am I going to really add an exception in lateness for that? No. My grace period covers that. But, 30 minutes late? Yeah, absolutely. And why do I have to have a supervisor waste their time or administrator to add that in there? Why not let that automation not only do it accurately, but quickly, right, throughout the day, and have these intraday staffing balances more accurate? So Adherence Link is something that a lot of companies put in and save some huge amount of dollars. We saw that ROI number before. That's pretty consistent across these organizations, that if you take the amount of time keeping these schedules accurate throughout the day, all these calls coming in, all these things that are happening throughout the day, that adds up. And you can take that time, that dollar investment, and put it into things like coaching, mentoring, and other tangible tasks that your administrators or supervisors can do. And with Adherence Link, you can have additional rules, right? So I'm sure all your businesses are complex. You have a bunch of rules already in place. Part-timers, this department, sales is different than service, and so forth. Well, these can be customized, right? If I look at a 10-minute lateness or leaving early, let's say you left early 10 minutes, or you worked extra 30 minutes past your shift. The service and sales, part-timer, full-timer, tenure, and so forth, they could have different rules that say, you know what, let me add in an overtime segment automatically to anybody that works 30 minutes past the shift. Right? And I know that you worked 30 minutes because you logged off your phone 30 minutes later, right? So I can tell that information automatically and not have to rely on manual supervision to make that happen. Really powerful stuff, and Adherence Link is an application I think brings a lot of value to customers. All right, we're going to talk about 2 additional applications here, just to give you an idea of where we're headed and what we have left to go. 2 additional applications, both of which are really exciting, both of which you may not have heard too much of. If you're a workforce management user, these are relatively newer. And I'll also take a look at some of the areas that we're looking into. So, you've already answered. I see most of these. If there was an easy way, would you be interested? Okay. Interesting, the person that wouldn't be, because you know what? This is probably one of the most asked things that I've heard as of late. Right? It's so many things happen in the contact center that we want to be able to bubble up. Right? I mean, we don't want to have to rely on reports and displays and so forth. When we can bubble up this information automatically and notify or present, these alerts or different messages out to whether it's agents or supervisor. And one of the exciting innovations that we're looking at here is notification. So being able to do things like let an agent know that a schedule has been changed. Yes, you can do that today with email and web pop-up, but we're talking about push notification, pushing out to a mobile phone. We're talking about other types of notification like overtime and so forth. So imagine, if you will, agents and supervisors. Tough to imagine, I know, stretch. No, but the agents, right, their need is a little different than supervisors, right? As an agent, I may need to know what my next scheduled event is. Why not, remind them like an Outlook reminder or a desktop pop-up reminder for the agent that says, hey, you know what, your meeting's coming up in 5 minutes, right? We have these business problems today that agents need to adhere better to schedules, get timely alerts, and you know what? And on devices that they're accustomed to. Why not give them an overtime, hey, there's overtime available alert on a mobile phone, right? You may want to have that because, you know what, they're off today, they're running around, they're, shopping, having fun, whatever, and you might want to, push out a mobile notification, hey, overtime's available. Maybe they need that extra cash, right? So that's an important piece there. Supervisors. They need to be able to not be glued to that display and bubble up these types of notification when certain thresholds, when overtime's available, that they can broadcast it out, when there's forecast higher than expected, when service levels are decreasing. Right? So agent supervisors needing different types of notification. So how can we help them? Right? Providing proactive notifications. And we're not just talking about an alert. We're not just talking about turning a font red or green. Right? We're talking about intelligent types of notifications, and we'll get into that in a minute. But at first, let's talk about pushing next scheduled event to the agents. Right? Your break's coming up in 5 minutes. As an agent, that would have been invaluable information, right? So that way, may not want to jump into that next call just yet. May want to wrap up what I'm doing here before I go into break and so forth. So having that next scheduled event for as an agent will make sure that the adherence is better looked at from an agent perspective, but also now taking it further. Right? One of the most asked questions that I get as of late is, how about overtime? How about being able to provide that notification out that overtime is available for agents? Today, that may look like something like this, where you're running reports, looking at screens, determine, maybe an individual or a group determines that there's overtime available for certain intervals. They start sending out emails, right? They start sending out different types of communications, whether it's IM that you use or so forth. All disparate, types of notifications that overtime's available. And then you have to deal with the calling in of the agents, right? The agents calling in, yes, I want overtime and so forth. So, as you can see, that's a pretty big process. And what we're talking about is having intelligent rules that say, you know what, overtime is available. Why not make that into a rule? Why not put that out as a broadcast notification out to the agents and on their mobile device, on their SMS or text or email, right? And then give them those tools like mobile, WFM Mobile or Virtual Schedule Attendant to then take action on that notification, right? Flip over to your mobile phone and grab that overtime opportunity, right? I notify you via SMS or push to your mobile phone. You have your mobile app, flip on over there and take that overtime, right? Making that circle a lot more efficient and not just one way, right? But the key is to have these intelligent types of rules and alerts in your system, and they don't necessarily have to just be workforce management related, right? I mean, you can have service level, you can have other types of data affect these types of rules and say, you know what, maybe based on service level, I want to alert my supervisors that something's going on, right? Or maybe I want to broadcast out that a site is down and so forth. So a key thing that we can do here, and I just wanted to share with you and let you know, is that notifications is a huge topic. It's an area that we've all heard time and time again that we can do more and do better with. And I'd love to be able to talk to you regarding some of the things that we can do for your business in that area. All right, one more application, and we'll talk about some of the the future areas that we're working on, and we'll open it up to some questions and answers. And if we have a little bit of time, I'll bring up my iPad and show you the mobile application. So Workforce Sync. What is Workforce Sync? Well, I'm sure this happens in every customer's site, is that you have new employees. New employees get hired. Well, what does that process look like in your environment? Is that a manual process? Is that an email that goes out to multiple departments that get bounced around? How does an employee get from HR into WFM, and how long does that take? Does that get touched by many hands? Is that a manual process? In a lot of companies, that's a huge undertaking. That's probably several days worth of bouncing around to a different person to get the information needed to finally get into WFM. And again, a lot of manual intervention. Workforce Sync aims to automate that, again, streamline that process, and go from an SAP, an HR system, into workforce management, either automatically in real time, or if there's multiple step processes, such as, let's say you need an ACD login by the ACD administrator. You need an IT credential set up by the IT department. Different departments need to get involved. We can cater to that, right? Because within the workflow engine, we can look at and assign a task to department IT. And the administrator gets their IT credentials, puts in the task, sends it along its way. And this one multi-step process is tracked. It's all holistic under one workflow, and not just these scattered tasks that everybody's got to do. And at the end of the day, it goes into workforce management, automatically updated. And by the way, folks along the path, you can choose to update them when that occurs. So when that record gets finally inserted into workforce management, either the new employee could be notified, the HR person, or whoever could get notified. So it is an automatic way to ensure that this lengthy, costly, time-consuming process gets adhered to with all of the intricate rules, right? So multiple departments getting involved, multiple departments getting access and visibility into this, and making sure that if a process is stuck somewhere, somebody has a visibility to say, oh yeah, George Cruz, he's the ACD admin, he was out this week. That's where it's stuck at. And more importantly, if I was out, I can delegate to my the person who's taking charge when I'm away, and have that automatically done and addressed, and not just fall through the cracks if I'm away on vacation. So again, it's a streamlining of a very time-consuming manual process, and that's really one of the key things that we try to focus in on is how can we automate these tasks? How can we leverage the tools that you have today? Right? You have some amazing tools today, but a lot of these tasks are getting in your way, the manual tasks. Let's streamline that. Let's automate some of those and really make them work to your benefit. All right, so let's talk about some of the areas that we're looking into, and then we'll open it up for some questions, and I'll show you the mobile application. But one of the areas is obviously we talked about that, the mobile notification. So more on mobile, right? We want to make sure that some of the information that is critical to you to have on a mobile application is there, whether it's trades, whether it's other functionality that we want to empower the application to have. We're looking at that, as well as these mobile notifications that allow you to take action very quickly and easily. We're looking into real-time adherence data on tablet devices and unlocking some of that real-time adherence data, not only on tablets in a web application, other types of applications. So that's early on, but more to come, and I think you'll be seeing a little bit more of that come later this year, early next year, where we dive into more of that unlocking of that RTA data into other devices and channels. And then we know that's important, right? I mean, RTA is lifeblood. It's you live and breathe it. But right now, it's very challenging, desktop intensive, very manual process where you're looking at things, and we want to make sure that we unlock some of that, and let the notification, let the application work for you. Virtual schedule attendant, we talked about that where you call in, but why not, give them the ability to also text in, right? So, I can send a text and have my schedule texted back. I can send a text in to take the day off, and obviously after this, you're authenticated and you're part of the system, right? Not anybody can just send a text in, but being able to allow that communication to happen, as there's 6 billion texts that happen in the U.S. alone, and I can attest to that as my daughter texts me from upstairs all the time. Hey, Dad, can you get something? And I'm like, where are you? More and more texts happen just every day, and it's just trying to be able to reach out to your staff in the way that they can, are most comfortable with, and reaching out to you. So text enabling virtual schedule attendant is one. We're looking to automate tasks, right? Notifications, employee onboarding, payroll integrations, and occurrence and time attendance tracking, right? How much time do you spend today, and do you have a system that allows you to weigh a lateness occurrence? If somebody's late 10 minutes, is that the same kind of weight as somebody who is late 2 hours? Is that the same weight as somebody who is absent? Right? So ultimately, at the end of the day, when you're looking at all these occurrences over a week, over a month, over a quarter, agents have performance implications that this will impact. Are you tracking that today? If you are, what kind of systems are you doing? Right? A lot of customers are looking for us to automate and help out in that area where we can assign multiple weights. We can look at, we see in workforce management all these occurrences. Why not use that data? Why not, automate that and let that drive things like, written warnings, first written warning, second written warning, verbal warnings, or, conversely, the other side of congratulations on, achieving, right? So automate those tasks that maybe not directly to the agent, but at least to the supervisor, right? And let the supervisor again gain time by not having to run these reports and just having these things bubble up for them. That's important. And some of the more future forward-looking pieces that we're looking at is predictive analytics, right? I mean, being able to look at trends in agent behavior on agents that have maybe just started with the company, right? Taking a look at how they're trending and start to do predictive analysis on, okay, based on these type of metrics, this agent is well on its way to be a rock star. Or, this agent is not, and they need this type of training, very quickly, and so forth. So kind of, taking your best resource, your most valuable resource, the agent, and really diving into some of these metrics and key performance indicators that can predict, the best performing type of agent. So we're looking at those. Certainly other areas like enhanced mobile analytics, even iBeacon. I don't know if you're familiar with some of the location-based functionality that either iPhones or mobile phones or even wearable devices can give you. Where I know a company recently asked us, can we look at taking away the swipe card, right? Being able to log somebody in by a device, whether it's on an application or a wearable, that they're in the building and basically they don't need to swipe in because I know that you're in the building, and if you leave the building, then I can quote unquote log you out. So those type of technologies are kind of converging and are having an impact in the contact center and able to do again these automated tasks that a lot easier and in again the devices and the manner in which agents are most comfortable with. Okay. So lastly, before we open it up for questions, and I just wanted to leave you with some additional takeaway and information. I have my contact information there. Also my colleague, Steve Hupp, who's another innovation evangelist. Please reach out to us. We'll be more than happy to direct you in the best way or have a one-on-one with you. Also, we put some videos on the mobile application there of agent and supervisor functionality, some YouTube videos, as well as some additional data sheets on these and other innovations that we have. Feel free to ask any questions, and we're always available. So before I take time to show you some of that mobile application, I want to pause here and take some questions. There's some questions out there.
Thanks, George. I do want to remind you, if you do have a question, feel free to pop it into the Q&A manager down there in the bottom left-hand corner. I did get a couple questions throughout the presentation asking if this is going to be recorded, and it is being recorded, and we should have the link available for that sometime next week. So just keep an eye out in your inbox for that to come through, and feel free to pop in any questions. Oh, it looks like there was one question that came in. Will these examples be available at the roadshow tomorrow at our face-to-face event in Dallas?
That's a great question, and you know what, Michelle, I'll check in on that for you. I got to see who's going to be available during that presentation over there in Dallas. So I'll check on the resources there, and if they are not available, I'll make sure that any questions that you have, you'll be at the show that will get addressed by the proper person. So, Michelle, I can follow up with you directly on that.
Great. It looks like that is the only question that came in. Again, if you do have any questions afterwards that come up, after you may go back and watch a recording, George and Stephen's contact information is up there on the screen, so feel free to reach out to them directly. With that, I'd like to thank George for presenting today, and also thank everybody for joining us.
Absolutely, Lauren, and I thank you as well. If you wanted to, I know we have a few minutes here. I mentioned that I'd stay on and show the mobile application. And if you still have a few minutes, I'll be more than happy to show that. So
that'd be great.
Excellent. So just, Lauren, if you could tell me, can you see my screen? I should be sharing my screen.
Yes, it looks great.
Okay, great. Okay, you see that big Despicable Me person back there. Gotcha. All right, so I'm on my iPad now, and I just wanted to bring up that application. So it is Workforce Management Mobile. I'm going to log in as an agent. And the gods of demo have shined upon me and didn't error me out. No. So as an agent, I get to see a few things, and which, by the way, can be configurable. Had a customer recently ask me, can we remove doing something? Can we change? Yes, we can. So these are the four main things that an agent would be allowed to do. And by the way, I am on an iPad. This is one of the great things about this is that it looks just as great on an iPhone. So we took painful attention to that to make sure that the experience is not necessarily a tablet-based, just easier to show here, but from a smartphone device, which most agents would have walking around, you're able to access it without an issue. So here we see Peter Dillon, and one of the things that you see immediately is that it's a resolved schedule, right? This is my timeline. It's not stacked on top of each other of different segments. It's here's, as a human, I'm able to digest this very easily. Intraday timeline, I look at the lunches, the breaks, the work schedules that I have, and I could easily see on a given day. I was sick yesterday. Somebody's been playing around with my my demo system. So tomorrow I can look at my schedule and see that. And if you notice down there, I'm able to do different things like change my schedule or request a change, add segments, or add a change to my schedule. So if I was Peter Dillon and I wasn't feeling well, and I knew I was going to be sick tomorrow because I'm that good in predicting the future, I can go in and say, you know what, I'm going to take some paid sick time tomorrow. Do I want to make it all day thing? Sure, I can make it partial day. And if you notice, I don't know if you're used to the typical alarm type of time settings, right, where you have to spin the wheel and get to that right thing. We took it a little step further. You notice that it's different. It's not that wheel, but we made it a lot quicker. That if we wanted to do something like, you know what, I'm going to take half the day. So instead of from 8 to 5, I'm going to be out 8 to 12. So I can go 12, set, and then with just that quick of a click, I can now put in a sick time from 8 to 12 for tomorrow. I was into Workforce Management, successfully added. Boom, schedule should reflect that. Now, again, based on Workforce Management rules, that could have been deferred and so forth. So again, that goes in as a request in for some time off. And if you notice there, I look at that and I see that sick time from 8 to 12 coming up, right? So it does adjust the schedule, and based on whether it was approved or not, it makes that official. A couple of things that I can do, again, saving time, is, you know what, how many times do I ask for time off? Well, and I have to call in and say, was that approved, was that approved, was that approved? No more. I can go in, look at the request viewer, and look at, what has been made official, which requests have failed. And if they failed, why? All right, so I go in here, I can tap on that and say, and maybe I don't have enough vacation time, or maybe, for whatever rules and reasons, it failed. You can have that visible there and have the agent now self-manage, again, their requests and schedule. So saving a lot of time and energy. Personal accounts. So the first thing I should probably check is, do I have vacation time? Right? Do I have any vacation time to use before I submit my request? And lo and behold, by the powers of the demo gods, I have 16,000 hours of vacation. I love this company. So from here, I'm able to go in to add in the bottom and add some vacation, right? Or put in my vacation time, right? So I'm able to do that very quickly, again, from there, as well as look at my performance. So agent productivity type numbers, schedule adherence type numbers that I'm being held accountable for. I'm able to go in and then take a look at that information. Okay. So lastly, I'll show you real quick. As a supervisor, I'm able to also log in. And this is something that a lot of customers have asked for is, can I see intraday statistics as a supervisor throughout the day? And yeah, the answer is absolutely. I can log in. And you're going to notice that it looks similar, but if I go to my team schedule, I see my entire team and see that there's 2 folks on billing, one person on customer service, and I got 4 people out. Fantastic, right? So I can easily take a look at who's out, who's not, and then drill down into, let's say, Jackie's schedule. Click on Jackie, see what she's doing for the rest of the day or for other days, and even adjust her schedule. Right, so I have very similar functionality from an agent perspective, but if I had a large team, I'm an administrator, I can quickly look at who's out today just by filtering on that and quickly addressing that in a schedule view. But I can also look at intraday statistics. And for, let's say, whatever routing sets that I want, let's say customer service, I can look at these intraday statistics, performance statistics throughout the day, and see what kind of staffing levels. Right? I mean, if I require 2, 3 people in a given interval, and I don't have any staffed, which apparently I don't, I'm going to be hurting today. If I need 20 people and I have 0, apparently that's not a good thing. So I can quickly look at staffing, forecasting information, intraday statistics, and look at which intervals are on alert, basically which ones are maybe negatively staffed or negatively forecasted, and quickly just filter on that information. And yes, the intraday statistics are configurable that based on your requirements. If you needed to have different intraday statistics, you can. I can look at all the requests that all my agents have made, whether a particular agent or all my agents. And lastly, I can send notifications. So from here, I can type in, if my fingers would work. Thank you. There you go. And there you go. I can send it to my team or a particular person in my team, and hit send, and they would get that notification in however way that your notifications are configured via email and so forth. So there you have it. I appreciate, again, your time today. Thank you very much. And again, if you have any questions, anything that you want to follow up on, I'll be more than happy to assist you. I saw some question there, Michelle. Sorry about that. Can you show me the view of a... So I'm trying to read the question. One second. My question is, can you show me the view of a group of employees requesting day off, time off based on real time? So I'm trying to understand that. So show me the view of a group of employees requesting day of time off based on real time. I'm not sure I understand that. If you want, I can. You can email me directly, and we can certainly have it a one-on-one conversation. Excellent. Well, again, thank you all for the time today. I really appreciate it. I hope you have an enjoyable afternoon, and thank you, Lauren, and appreciate it.
All right. Thanks, George. And with that, I thank you all for joining, and this concludes our webinar.
This does conclude today's conference call. You may now disconnect.